friends. Thank you for dialing us up on your internet-connected device for another installment of Podcast Excellent. What's your favorite movie? The movie podcast adored and tolerated by at least 24 people. We are excited to have you here today. My name is Ed South, and Bob, howdy. Do I enjoy the movies? And sitting directly across from me in the Acme Podcast Studios this evening is another person who's been known to enjoy a film or two. It's our good friend Diana. Diana, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Ed. How are you?
I am delightful. You can tell in the pep in my voice that I'm excited to record another episode of What's Your Favorite Movie?
When did the studio get a name?
The Acme Podcast Studios?
Yeah.
Last night when I wrote these notes out, like that.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
What I was trying to do was make fun of how they always have, like, on radio now, it's like, the Toyota Seneca Studios. And
yeah, everyone does it. Everyone's studio has a name, there's their studio sponsorship, whatever that's about.
And today's episode is all about animation, so I worked Acme in.
Nice.
You see what I did there?
I do.
What's your favorite Acme product, Diana?
I think the Big Mallet.
The Big Mallet's good. I like the bat wings. All right. Folks, here's what I want to do first off is just talk about a little project we're going to undertake here at What's Your Favorite Movie. It's called the Mailbag Segment. Right? Did I say that right? Mailbag Segment. It
Yes.
sounds dirty, but it's not.
It really does sound dirty.
It's a sequel to the Human Centipede. What I need you guys to do is get on over to your email device and send an email to favemoviepodcast@yahoo.com. Let's get a mailbag segment going. I'm going to plug this for a couple episodes, and we'll scrape together the 3 or 4 that come in, and we can do a mailbag episode. So whatever you got, like just something to interact with us. Recommend a film. Tell us about a favorite movie of yours. Ask us a question. You can tell us we suck. Tell us what you'd like to hear on the show. Do you have an idea for a topic or a list? You can send us your own list. Whatever it is. And we're going to save them up, and then we'll do a mailbag segment in a few shows. So even if you want to ask a particular guest, if you had a question for Diana, we can do that. If you had a question for one of our other What's Your Favorite Movie friends, we can do that as well. So again, mailbag segment. I don't ask much from you guys, but this is what I'm asking. So come up with something. We'll do it in a couple of shows. I'll plug it again, see what we can do. So hopefully in a few weeks we can have mailbag segment on What's Your Favorite Movie. And I'm going to come up with a better name for it than that. What's your favorite mailbox? And the other thing that I ask folks is tell your friends about the show. If you enjoy listening to What's Your Favorite Movie, if you enjoy listening to a moderately educated person talk about films of various qualities, what you should do is tell your friend about it. Say, hey, tune into What's Your Favorite Movie. Share us on social media. Whatever the case is, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, Instagram. You can share just one of those posts if you want. Put a little thing and go, hey, this is what I do with my time. Why don't you? And we'd appreciate it. Right?
Why don't you?
Why don't you? Or you can just insult me. Today's show's topic is obscure and forgotten animated films. Are they obscure? Are they forgotten? Are they both? Now, everyone knows. Have you ever heard of, like, Dumbo or Pinocchio? Those are the big ones, but we're going to talk about some obscure and forgotten animated films. Is your list a list of recommendations or just films that fit under that category? I'm not sure if all of mine are recommendations now that I've watched them again, but
Mine are definitely recommendations.
Gotcha.
They're definitely recommendations, and again, I don't know how necessarily obscure mine are, but they are non-big studio films.
We will judge Diana's selections based on obscurity and forgottenness, and feel free to weigh in on Twitter if you want. Why do I like cartoons so much? What's that all about?
I don't know, but that's okay. That's who you are, you know?
I think what it is when I was little, I liked television and I watched a lot of cartoons, and then as I got older I still liked the older cartoons. So now that we're removed from the golden age of animation, not that I was born in the golden age of animation, but when we were little you'd watch Popeye and Casper and Bugs Bunny and stuff on TV, and now those are almost all forgotten about, but I still like them. And then I like animation in general. It's a good thing. But animation has become it used to be there was only Disney films. Like very rarely would anything else besides a Disney film come out. And then with Toy Story, which was a Disney film, but everybody got into the computer animation game, and now we have like 7 farting zebra movies a year. So that's a thing. Diana, what do you think is the highest grossing animated movie of all time?
Wow, I don't know.
Take a stab. Just name a movie.
How about you just tell us?
How about I give you a hint by pointing to that picture on the wall over there?
Oh, is it really?
It's Frozen. Huh. $1.27 billion. $billion.
I've still never seen it.
That is a sad statement that you should correct because it is a fine, fine motion picture. Or what you need to do is have yourself a kid and you'll be forced to watch it 1.27 billion times.
Yeah.
So.
It's hard for me to feel excited about seeing it just because it's everything's just so oversaturated with, Frozen merchandise and...
Is there? Can you buy toys? And t-shirts? And posters?
And everything.
And winter coats?
Yeah.
And boots? Yeah, I didn't know that. All right.
And food and just... it's just too much. It's too much.
I mean, at our grocery store, there's a whole frozen food section. So
that's what I'm saying.
Good night, everyone. All right. So Diana did her homework. I did my homework. We're both bringing to the table 3 each motion pictures that have been animated in animation style. Diana, give us your first choice for our list of obscure and forgotten animated films.
All right. First,
I don't know Diana's list, and all she knows is mine are crappy. That's all she knows. Go ahead.
That's right. First on my list is Mary and Max. 2009 Australian stop motion movie. You do not know this one?
I do not know that.
Oh, you should definitely see it. It's like a lot of my picks. It is offbeat, of course.
Yes.
There's a lot of sadness. You might cry, but ultimately it's just a really sweet movie.
Are Mary and Max animals or people?
They are people. So Mary is a little girl who lives in Australia. Max is an old man. He's not old, but he's like a middle-aged man that she, who lives in New York, that she starts writing to. Just randomly. She picks a name out of a phone book and sends him a letter. And so they begin this years-long pen pal relationship. And, it deals with a lot of issues of, loneliness and also, mental health but ultimately, friendship and whatever. It's really sweet. It's very moving, as much as, stop motion animation can be.
So it's stop motion. Okay.
Yes.
So it's like claymation or toys or.
Right. So it's from the same people who did Harvey Crumpet. If you know that one.
I vaguely do.
That one won an Academy Award for Best Animated Short. So I think, more people possibly might be familiar with Harvey Crumpet than Mary and Max.
So it's not like California Raisin claymation, but it's like puppetry. Toys.
It's claymation basically. It's well done and yeah, I would recommend it, definitely.
Does this film have any talking animals in it?
I don't recall any animals talking. Mary does have a pet chicken named Ethel.
Is it cartoony?
But yeah.
It's a good movie. And how would one find this? How did you come about this? I never even heard of it.
Really?
I've heard a lot of... maybe if I saw a picture of the poster, I'd be like, oh yeah, that thing, but...
Right. It's definitely available. It's out there. I think Netflix has it.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how I saw it was via Netflix. But yeah, you can find it. It's out there.
Mary and Max. What year was that?
2009.
2009. Stop motion animation.
Yeah. It's only 90 minutes, so...
Yay, 90 minutes. Do you... Okay.
Okay.
Did you say your piece with Mary and Max?
I think so.
I was hoping they'd be like a rhinoceros and like a rhinoceros in a little dress. That'd be cute.
Sorry.
There's no kangaroos in it or anything? Or koalas? I hate koalas so much.
Let's scratch your eyes out.
Devil thumbs. All right. So we'll go to number 2 on our collective list. I'm bringing to the table 1977's Raggedy Ann and Andy, A Musical Adventure, which I watched not that long ago with my daughter. But I was just thinking of this movie because I had seen it as a kid, and I was like, whatever happened to that movie? And I found it at a Goodwill, so I picked it up for $1 on VHS. And I know I saw it as a kid. I remember seeing it on TV. My research says it was only on television once, on CBS in 1979, so maybe I remember that, or maybe it was on HBO or something later. But
I don't know. I mean, I do remember this movie.
You've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it must have been
But
on
it's been
TV
a
more.
long
Yes.
time.
So it is directed by Richard Williams, who's done so many nice cartoons, and he's a good animator. He was the lead animator on Roger Rabbit. But this is a weird movie, Diana.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It is a... I hate to attribute things to drugs, but it was the 70s, so I guess everyone was... It was just weird. So it's based on the dolls, obviously, Raggedy Ann and Andy. Raggedy Ann, voiced by Didi Khan, Frenchie from Grease 1 and 2. And they live in a little the playroom, and when their owner Marcella leaves the room, all the dolls come to life, all the toys come to life. What an interesting concept. And so she gets a present. Wait, what? This is the same plot as Toy Story. So she gets a present, and everyone's excited, and they open it up, and instead of a action figure, it's because she's a little girl, it's a beautiful doll from France named Babette. And then there's this captain in a bottle, like a captain on a boat in a bottle, and he falls in love with her instantly, and he kidnaps her, and they leave, and then Raggedy Ann and Andy go to find them, but they don't talk about the captain for the rest of the movie. It's just like, oh, we're meeting this guy. Oh, we're meeting this guy for 20 minutes. And let me tell you, every single person they meet sings at least 2 songs. There are over 400 songs in this movie. Oh my gosh, there are so many songs. Not a single one of them are memorable. I'm sorry. They're written by Joe Raposo, who does all the music on Sesame Street, or did all the music on Sesame Street, and wrote the theme to Three's Company. And yeah, so many animated films from our childhood are very, very episodic, where they go on some adventure, and it's like, okay, now we're in the caves and we're meeting the rock people for 20 minutes. And then we escape and we go to the water section and we meet the water things for 20 minutes. And now we're in the forest and the trees come to life. Trees always came to life in old kids' movies, didn't they?
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed.
They should make a movie of the apple pie trees from McDonald's.
Oh my God.
That would be amazing.
Terrifying.
That would be amazing. What if they did it like a horror movie? That'd be even cooler. Like,
seriously, whatever happened with all the McDonaldland characters?
Well, they got sued by Puffin Stuff.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they got sued by Puffin Stuff, and they had to discontinue the use of most of them. They were able to keep Kermit, Ronald, and Grimace, and Early Bird, but now they don't even use any of them anymore.
Nope. They've all disappeared.
They've all disappeared.
Sad.
And don't even get me started on the playgrounds. Those old McDonaldland playgrounds are like lawsuits waiting to happen. They're so 70s, not safety tested or whatever you want to say. But anyway. So yes, Raggedy Ann and Andy, A Musical Adventure. It was only released on video. It's not on DVD. You can't find it on Amazon. So it's a question of why am I even recommending it to people? But am I recommending it?
I don't know if you are, but I mean, I think it's good to, let people know, like,
it's out there. I mean, speaking of Ronald McDonald, sorry, dog. Speaking of Ronald McDonald, Raggedy Ann and Andy have kind of almost disappeared from the pop culture. Certainly not super relevant, but nobody hardly remembers them. They don't pop up too much anymore. That's sad. Sad. There's also a 1941 short directed by Dave Fleischer, who did the Superman cartoons, a 17-minute Raggedy Ann and Andy. That was supposed to be the beginning of a series, and that never took off, but that's really cute, too. In that one, Raggedy Ann and Andy are sweethearts, but in the others, they're brother and sister.
Huh.
So that's weird.
That is weird. I didn't remember them being siblings. I always, in my head, they were always,
But how are toy siblings, really?
Well, how are they anything?
They're Raggedy Ann and Andy. I just realized it's warning you in the title, a musical adventure. There's a lot. There's a lot of music. The soundtrack album, which I looked up online, has 21 songs on it. That's a lot for like an 80-minute movie. So, Raggedy Ann and Andy, a musical venture, 1977. Diana, tell us the next film on your list. Have I seen it? Do you think I've seen it?
I doubt it, but it's possible.
Let's see.
So next on my list is Song of the Sea.
Song of the Sea. I think I am familiar.
From 2014.
Gotcha. This is a Japanese film?
Incorrect.
Australian?
Incorrect.
It is a film.
It is a film. It is a 94-minute feature-length film from Cartoon Saloon, which is the Irish studio that's also responsible for...
Oh, it did Secret of Kells.
Right, The Secret of Kells, which I think probably more people are familiar with.
Right.
So they did The Secret of Kells, then Song of the Sea, and then just last year they did The Breadwinner.
Okay.
All three of these films have been nominated for Best Animated Feature.
Yes.
So they're 3 for 3.
Woohoo!
Yep.
The Breadwinner is on Netflix right now. I know that.
Is it? I haven't seen it yet. I would like to.
It's in my queue.
I'd like to. I've seen The Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea, and I like both of those quite a lot. I've not seen The Breadwinner, but...
So tell us what the Song of the Sea is.
I mean, it's hard to explain. It's, basically all about, like, Irish, particular Irish mythology and folklore and whatever. People turn into seals, what have you. But it's, it's again another, very sweet movie. You'll probably cry. I did, but it's just a nice. It's very pretty. I mean, their animation style is, it's very visually.
What do they do? Do you know? It's like very watercolory looking.
It is watercolory looking. I'm not.
It's probably manipulated by use of computers.
It might be. I mean, I know that Song of the Sea is, it's hand drawn, but whether there's
computer manipulation.
Right, I don't know.
I don't think any animated film is made anymore without some computer manipulation.
Yeah.
Yes. Is that all you have to say of Song of the Sea? No. What's it about?
What
is it about? Animals?
It's about a family and like the mother
of polar bears or what?
No, they're people. They're people sort of.
They're leprechauns, obviously.
There's no leprechauns, but they do. It deals with selkies, which get sort of mythical creatures from Irish mythology.
All right. Would I like this film?
Did you see The Secret of Kells?
I did not, but I would watch it.
I mean, I think that you would enjoy both of those.
The thing about animated film is even if like the stories, whatever, the visuals can be enough to carry you through 90 minutes. Yeah,
no, and I think that, and certainly, like I said, visually they're amazing. I think the story is good, and it's they're nice.
It's nice,
sweet films, and
if we were influential enough to have our quotes on the back of DVD boxes, we would say, "Nice, Diana."
No,
what's your favorite movie?
I would come up with something a little more compelling than that.
Really nice, Diana. What's your favorite movie? Ed South says, "Where's the koalas?" Does your third movie have talking animals in it?
No.
Oh my gosh. The topic wasn't animated films without talking animals.
Sorry.
You need a talking animal.
Sorry.
Like, what's the point of it a cartoon if it's not a talking animal?
I've utterly failed. I'm sorry.
So that is Song of the Sea. What year is that?
2014.
2014. Academy Award nominated. I wonder what won in 2014. I should know what beat that out.
I don't know offhand.
Something crappy.
Probably.
14, I don't know offhand, but I'm sure it was Boss Baby or something like that. So,
no doubt.
No doubt. Let's talk about another animated film that did not win any Oscars, was not nominated for an Oscar. But it's from 1985, and the whole time I was watching it, it was just amazing that there are no computers used. I guess by 85 there was probably a little bit of computery, but Folks, we're talking about
a little bit of computery.
A little bit of computery, which is a new film coming out from Studio Ghibli. We're talking about the 1985 animated science fiction epic, Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer. Have you seen Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer?
I've never seen it, no.
Let's pause so you can go watch it right now, and then we'll come back. Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer holds a special place in my heart just because I just wanted to see it when it came out because it was a cartoon. Like, that's all I care about. It was a cartoon. The cartoons weren't in theaters often. It drove my dad up the wall that I wanted to see this movie as much as I did.
I can see that.
Yes, which made me just want to watch it more. Because I mean, now it's a hot topic, but just because a movie stars a girl doesn't make it a girl movie. I mean, this is a real science fiction-y movie. It has what?
Yeah, it's a real science fiction.
It's a real science fiction. Isaac Asimov worked on the script along with Gene Roddenberry. No, it is. I mean, first of all, the animation is super crappy. It's by Deke, D-I-C.
Oh, Deke.
Who brought television animation down so far.
Yes.
I mean, imagine bringing the bar down from the Smurfs. Like, the Smurfs was pretty... And then they're like, oh, well, we can do worse than that. But anyway, it's crappy animation, but now we would call it anime. And it was produced in 3 months. The whole entire film took 3 months to make, which
awesome.
Animated films now, even like something basic like Boss Baby or Madagascar 22 takes like a year or two. 3 months to get Rainbow Bright. And what happens is somebody steals a star and she goes and looks for it. So there's a princess and she wants to steal this diamond that gives color to the universe. And Rainbow Bright gets summoned to leave Rainbow Land. And I feel like an idiot talking about it now. I saw this when I was a kid. I remember it being very, very funny and very action-y oriented and like thinking it was really, really good. And I know. And I bought a cassette of it years ago when like Blockbuster was going out of business. Like probably 20 plus years ago, I bought the cassette. It's been sitting on my shelf ever since. When I took it off the other day, it had a layer of dust thick enough to bake a pizza on. I don't know what that means. But so my daughter and I watched it, and it starts off and it's horrible. There's like an opening number that's completely tone deaf and all the little characters are singing "Welcome to Rainbow World." But then when she gets out into the adventure, it's not horrible. It's kind of good.
Kinda.
It has a really high rating on IMDb too. It has like a 7 point something or whatever on IMDb.
Oh my God.
I know. And people gush over it in the reviews. They just showed it at a theater not too far from here. I did not go because it featured local comedians talking over top of it, which I would honestly rather hang myself than hear comedians talking over a movie. But yeah, so Rainbow Bright, she's all good.
Sure.
Rainbow Bright's horse runs on a rainbow, which feels like that was test marketed it to like maximum little girl likability. Like it's like a rainbow colored horse running on a rainbow. Isn't that?
It's interesting. I never got into Rainbow Bright because let me tell you, my sticker book when I was a kid was full of horses and unicorns and rainbows.
Horses and that was a song in the movie in both this and Raggedy Ann. Horses and rainbows. But yeah, well, Rainbow Bright started out as greeting cards,
right.
So I'm sure there was a bazillion stickers. You didn't have Rainbow Bright stickers?
I didn't have anything Rainbow Bright. It just, I don't know. Like, even as a kid, I was just like, whatever, that's dumb.
That's dumb. You guys were all jacked up on Care Bears at your house.
A little bit, yeah.
Man, I wonder if there's a sticker podcast. Like, stickers are the best.
Probably.
Sticker podcast.
I used to get Stickers Magazine. That was
awesome.
That was
Stickers
awesome.
Magazine!
Yeah.
It had stickers in it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Stickers Magazine. Oh, that's so great. I'm going to look it up when we're done. Oh, yes. I remember the cover of the first issue had some kids like on a magic carpet made out of stickers or whatever.
Probably,
like
yeah.
A roll of stickers.
Yeah.
Greatest sticker of all time was Pac-Man eating Annie. It was like Annie going into Pac-Man. Greatest sticker of all time.
Sure.
Smurf Puffy stickers, scratch and sniffs.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yep.
I was actually, we're just going to go off on this huge sticker tangent, folks. I was thinking the other day, I'm glad the scratch and sniff sticker phase did not overlap with the current obsession with poop phase.
Yeah.
That would be a thing.
That would be a thing.
Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer, 1985. You can find it on DVD. You can find it on Amazon. It's 85 minutes. It's about 20 minutes too long, to be honest with you. But it was enjoyable. My daughter liked it. It's fun. And again, no computers, so it's like amazing just that they would make 85 minutes. Like it was all hand colored and all drawn and very cool. Rainbow Bright's horse's voice was bothering me the whole time. Like, who was it? Who is the voice of Starlight? He was voiced by Owl from Winnie the Pooh, the guy that played Owl. And I just have to add real quick, at the end of the movie, not to spoil it for you folks, but when Rainbow Bright saves the day and the little boy down on Earth comes outside and the sun comes up and a rainbow comes up over the sky and he goes outside with his baseball and glove and throws the baseball up and it bounces off of the rainbow. It's like, yep, it's spring. Wonder how many kids went out and tried to throw a baseball at a rainbow and knocked somebody unconscious over on the other side. Rainbow Bright and the Star Stealer, 1985. Diana, film number 3 or 5, depending on how you look at it.
All right, so my last pick.
Your last animalist pick.
Hopefully, you don't consider this cheating, but it's a short. It's only 17 minutes running time.
Is it World of Tomorrow?
It is World of Tomorrow.
How did I know that? World of Tomorrow is awesome.
It is awesome. If you feel like that's cheating because I went with an animated short, then we'll substitute in It's Such a Beautiful Day, which is feature length. But
let's talk about it. So
yeah.
World of Tomorrow.
So World of Tomorrow.
I saw it in the theater. How lucky am I? That was awesome.
Yeah. So the animation of Don Hertzfeldt is some of the weirdest stuff you will ever see. But it's kind of amazing because, I mean, his characters are like all stick figures and it's just totally bizarre, but somehow you actually care about what happens to these stick figures. So yeah, World of Tomorrow, little girl encounters her clone coming from 200 years in the future, and the wackiness ensues. But
you get very invested in 17 minutes. Like you're
you
watching
really
it,
do.
and you're like, what is this? Why? And can this be over soon? Because it looks kind of cheap, doesn't it? It looks like it was cheaply made, stick figure-y.
I mean, it does. It does look cheap, but exactly. Pretty quickly you get invested in what is happening, and I need to know what happens to these bizarre stick figures.
That's good. Yeah.
So, have you seen It's Such a Beautiful Day?
No. Tell me.
Okay, so prior to World of Tomorrow, Hertzfeldt had done a series of 3 shorts that ultimately got strung together into a feature length.
Like Winnie the Pooh.
Feature length movie. It's called It's Such a Beautiful Day. It was released in 2012, and again with the same stick figures and just bizarreness. And then there are moments of other types of animation styles that are tossed in, and there's just lots of weird stuff. But again, it's like you're watching it and you're just like, I have no idea what I'm watching, but I really want to know what happens.
Right. Which is awesome.
It is awesome. So yeah, Hertzfeldt in 2014 did the opening couch gag for The Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
So have you seen that?
I have, but I don't remember.
Right. It's super weird.
Yes.
It's the longest opening in the show's history.
Okay, now I do remember. Is that the one where they went underground? No, that was Banksy's. Yeah.
So, like, Homer with his remote control manages to go into the future, and they're just like bizarre creatures, but I mean, it's just like all of the rest of his animation. It's way out there, really weird, but just strangely compelling to watch.
We can probably find that and post it on Twitter or Facebook. For all 10 of you listening.
It's definitely out there. You can find it.
And World of Tomorrow was on Netflix. I'm not sure if it still is or not, but it was on Netflix for a while.
It's out there on the internet. You can find it for free.
That's cool.
It's Such a Beautiful Day. You can find bits and pieces of on YouTube. Like if you make an effort. So like the 3 segments of It's Such a Beautiful Day are Everything Will Be Okay from 2006, I'm So Proud of You from 2008, and the third is called It's Such a Beautiful Day.
What a bunch of nice titles.
From 2000. And yeah, I mean, it's again like about all sorts of mental illness and really, really grim things. But at the end of the day, it's just kind of about, embrace life now because it's such a beautiful day.
It's such a beautiful day. Let me ask you a question, since animation is oft considered children friendly. Are all 3 of your films kid friendly or kid appropriate at least? Are they going to hold a kid's attention? Probably.
I would say Song of the Sea would be most kid friendly. Don Hertzfeldt, not so much.
I mean, it's not inappropriate. It's just
no, but
it's
adult themed.
Yeah.
And Mary and Max is not that a kid couldn't watch it, but to like appreciate it, I think you need to have an adult perspective.
But you can watch it with the kids in the room.
Sure, yeah. There's nothing terrible in any of these, but like if you want your kids to actually get it, I would recommend Song of the Sea.
And World of Tomorrow is your third pick.
It is.
World of Tomorrow, which is like, what'd you say, like 17 minutes? For some reason, when you said 17 minutes, I knew what it was. Because I knew.
Well, I've brought it up before, saying that I wanted to talk about it because it's so weird but so amazing.
I saw it in the theater with all the other Oscar-nominated shorts of that year, and it was the longest. Some of them are like 2 minutes, and then that one was 17, which makes it feel super long. But my asking of the appropriateness was a good segue into my final film, which is appropriate for children, but I'm going to tell you how I came across this film. It's called Twice Upon a Time. I forgot to write down the year. I think it was 83. Executive producer George Lucas, and it's created in this weird animation style where they used plastic cutouts on a light board, so it looks very artsy, fartsy kind of thing. But I saw this movie when I was a kid on HBO, and I think I probably just stopped and watched it because it was a cartoon, and that's what I did, and maybe still do. But anyway, so I'm watching this cartoon. It's a kid's movie, and it's on a day. And, of course, in 83, in your little brain, cartoons are for kids. So I'm watching this movie, and then in the one scene, the bad guy starts yelling at all his minions, which they're actually called minions in here, but he starts yelling at them and dropping the F-bomb left and right, and like my little 11-year-old head exploded. I was like, what? So I've always had that in the back of my head. I don't know if I've seen it multiple times when I was a kid, but always had that in the back of my head, like, that's crazy. So in the 90s, when I was a super film snob and got a Laserdisc player, I actually found the Laserdisc of Twice Upon a Time. So I was like, oh my God, we got to watch this. It's got the F-bomb in it or whatever.
Right.
Watched the whole movie, which was rated PG, and there's no F-bomb in it. So I'm like, what happened there? So whatever. And now, at this point in time, with the aided use of internet technology, I can look it up to see if I'm dreaming it or not. And in fact, this film tested super poorly, so they went back. It was a kid's film. They went back and recorded a second audio track and spruced it up with foul language to make it more for teenagers and college kids. And that was all done behind the director's back. The director didn't like it, but that version went to HBO, and they ran it 3 times before it was caught, and they fixed it and corrected it. So that's it, and you can find it on the internet apparently, and it's been shown at film festivals. But it was kind of cool to have that vindicated in my head, because I had never, I swear he said the F word in it, and I watched it. So we watched this the other day. I watched it. I fired up my Laserdisc player, which literally took me about an hour and a half to get running again. You have to keep slamming the disc in and hoping it clicks and catches. But
do you have to blow into the slot?
No. Oh, I didn't. I jiggled it. I banged on it a couple times. I got it to work finally. And then you had to do it twice because you got to turn the movie over halfway through. But,
nice.
This is about Ralph, who's an all-purpose animal. Talking animal, voiced by Lorenzo Music, a little less Garfield-y than he is in Garfield, and his best friend Mum, who's like a mime or something. And I don't know, they're just there. And the bad guy, Synonymous Botch, gets them to go into a clock and steal a spring so that he can make everyone have nightmares or something like that.
That makes sense.
Yes. And it's just super duper weird, and it's done in this cool style where, I mean, like I said, it's got the stop motion, but some of it is live action backgrounds that are in black and white. Like they go out into the real world and like climb into people's heads to get their dreams and stuff. So it's really neat to look at, but it's just bizarre, and I could not follow it at all. Even knowing that the F word wasn't in there and waiting for it like a dork, like a dorky 11-year-old. But I did like that the bad guy, he's in the bathtub in one shot, and he's got a Nixon Agnew 68 tattoo on his stomach, which I thought was a nice, yeah. And it's just weird how things in kids' movies back in the day like flew. Like there's also a scene where they're doing like a slideshow, you know, like we need to do this, click, and this, click, and then he clicks, and it's like a picture clearly out of an old Playboy with like a half-naked girl, and she's very half-naked or whatever, and you know, it's up for a second, but that would be like PG-13 instantly now.
Who's like the naked people in The Rescuers?
Yes, the wicked people in The Rescuers. Where?
When they're flying,
yes,
they fly past a
billboard,
and they fly past an apartment building, and there's a naked woman in one of the apartments.
That is wild stuff. Oh, I like The Rescuers.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater.
They're talking animals. We've talked about it. You're seeing it in the theater here before. So yeah, Twice Upon a Time. Really, really strange movie, but if you're into that and you want to see something weird and not the F word, then that's a route you should go. It's produced by George Lucas, and it's very strange. And it has minions in it. There's a character named Ratatouille, and they have a scream meter. They collect the screams of kids and throw it back out to power their nightmares, which is also from Monsters, Inc. Yes. There you go. So that's our 6 movies of our obscure. I would say yours all fit obscure.
Okay. Again, I wasn't sure how, like if it's been nominated for a major award, does it still meet, the obscurity
it can
criteria?
Still, I mean, look at the Oscars last year, like Phantom Thread, that's already going to be obscure. And like that's
right. I mean, that's the thing is I don't know how many people have seen any of these movies. Probably not that many. So
you did good. I would say they were obscure and maybe even a little forgotten, or maybe future forgotten films.
Future forgotten.
Real quick, I threw together a list of 10 more forgotten animated films. You ready? We'll just plow through this real quick.
This will be good.
Yes, it will. Rover Dangerfield, where Rodney Dangerfield is a dog.
Yeah.
And he wears a tie, and he says, "I don't get no respect," and then he makes like dog sex jokes or whatever.
Sure.
I Go Pogo. Oh, I love I Go Pogo. You know Pogo?
Pogo, yes.
It's a claymation Pogo film about Pogo running for president. It's got Jonathan Winters and Vincent Price. Oh, I love that movie. Completely gone, no DVD.
Yeah.
You can't find a tape of it. It's very hard. 1965's Pinocchio in Outer Space. Do you remember that? It used to be on TV vaguely. All the time. 1992, Tom and Jerry the movie, where Tom and Jerry talk and become best friends, and there's a whole lot of singing going on. And the bad guy is played by Mrs. Garrett from Facts of Life. Tom and Jerry the movie was a huge hit in Europe. And it came over here, and I was like really excited, like, oh, they got like a movie, and it's going to be really good. It's terrible. Happily Ever After. Oh, I love Happily Ever After. Super crappy Filmation movie, a sequel to Snow White. Mm-hmm. And they got sued by Disney, so they had to change the dwarfs to the dwarfettes or dwarfellas or something.
Sure.
Yes. Recess, School's Out.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was a good movie.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of these.
Saw it in the theater. Based on a very short-lived TV show, Recess. The Pinchgriff Grand Prix. 1975 from Norway. Used to watch it all the time on HBO. Turns out it's Norway's #1 highest grossing movie of all time.
Of course it is.
It's a stop-motion, car race movie. Animal Farm from 1954. That's some funky stuff right there.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Bits of it, yeah.
It's animated. It looks like Looney Tunes almost, like that kind of an animation with that kind of like film grain, and then it's less like super dark and a little creepy and not cutesy-wootsy and funny at all.
That story is horrifying,
yes.
so yeah.
Secret of the Sword, 1985. He-Man and She-Ra. It is literally 5 episodes stitched together. Imagine watching 5 He-Man episodes back to back. And 1976, Once Upon a Girl. That is a film where Mother Goose goes on trial for obscenity charges, and then they read from this Mother Goose book, and it cuts to cartoons of X-rated nursery rhymes. Because who doesn't like watching cartoon that? All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for us on What's Your Favorite Movie, the podcast that talks about movies and says, hey, what's your favorite? Do us a favor, go on iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. All 3 of those things help people find this show. It takes 1 second out of your life, and it would mean so much to me. I tuned into a podcast the other day. They spent the first 9.5 minutes reading reviews of podcasts. That's too much. Yes. I won't do that. Because no one does. Join us on Twitter at WYF Movie Podcast. You can find me on at Ed South. Diana likes to keep it low key on Twitter. She won't tell us her address, so you'll have to search Song of the Sea Fan 23 and see if you find her. Again, share the show with your friends, social media. Email us for the mailbag segment. You know what? One thing you could email us, a better name for the segment than mailbag segment. So find us, Fave Movie Podcast at Yahoo. Let us know what you think. Tell us your favorite animated film. Obscure or unobscure. We don't care. We want it all. You can answer all 10 of these. You could send us so much, I will do an entire show just reading your one email. That's how desperate and sad I need your emails. I feed off of them. Diana, thank you so much for joining us today in the Acme What's Your Favorite Movie Studios. As a token of our appreciation, we're going to give you this jar of metal birdseed pellets.
Yes.
Please enjoy accordingly. And a giant catapult.
Sweet.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, as always, it's khaki wishes and cookie dreams. So long.